All right, this morning as kind of a continuation, are you good to go? All right, cool. This morning as a continuation of our sermon series, we want to continue to honor what we've been doing all year, but today the sermon is shortened because we're going to be doing service projects during this time as well this morning. If you're new here today, if you're visiting with us today, I just want to give you a brief explanation. As a church, we made a decision several years ago that tithing is not just about our money. Tithing is a part of that. It's about putting God first, but it's more than your money, it's your life. And so as a church, we thought it is very important for us to tithe our Sundays as well. And so 1/10 of the amount of time we have as a congregation in a year to come together, we serve on those Sundays. So every 10 weeks or so, 5 Sundays a year, we give back to our community through doing service projects. And so this morning we have 2 different service projects you can do that I'm going to explain in just a moment, but that's why we're doing what we do. This morning we have a very special testimony that we're going to share as part of our series called Depend on the Spirit. Depend on the Spirit, the entire series is based on this understanding. When the last word in the book of Revelation, which is the last book in the Bible, was written, God did not stop speaking then. He still speaks through you. He still speaks through me. He still speaks through your neighbors. And so what we have done, what we are doing, and I'll put out this small plea. You can check out our website. You can drop off information here however you'd like to. We want to know your stories. We want to know a story of a time in your life that God showed up. And we want to be able to honor that and build a sermon around that lesson that God has breathed into you, that life plan that he has for you. I feel kind of like Mike Rowe on Dirty Jobs. I need your input. I need to hear from you because until you give me your stories, I don't have a sermon plan. And if you know me very well, you know I like to be 6 months planned out. And right now I'm planned out through the end of June, and that is scaring me. So I need your stories. I need to hear from you. And if you've given me your story and you haven't heard back from me yet, I want you to hit me upside the head and go, hey, Trey, I haven't heard from you. Because chances are, if you haven't seen my office before, I lost your story. I hate to admit that, but if you've seen my story, if you handed it to me other than in my office where I could put it in the folder where it needs to go, there's always that possibility. So this morning, we're going to hear the story of one of our very own, Mr. Terry McReynolds. Terry lives here in Pendleton, has kind of been a lifelong resident, but if you've ever spent time with Terry, you will understand very quickly he does not like to speak in public. And I know that is so different from the rest of you. But here's where Terry really stood out for me. Because he knew he couldn't stand up in front of you. He went home and he pulled out his smartphone. Mine's on my desk. I was going to pull it out. And he hit the record button. And he just started telling his story. And then he brought it in here to me and he said, Trey, I can never stand up there, but can you make this tell my story for me? And so I could have made him say anything I wanted him to say. I've got the video editing software to do that. Today, we will. But I didn't do that to you, Terry. I didn't do that to you. Ryan and I took your story and we just kind of honed it in to keep it in a single roll. Because one of the things we all do is we take road trips on our stories. And so if you're scared about that and you're telling your story, well, we just kind of cleaned up some of the road trips. But we worked very hard to hold it to the truth of Terry's story. And I'm very excited to tell his story. And it's just going to be audio. You're just going to listen to it. It runs about 10 minutes. But I just want you to hear him telling his story. And I hope that this gives you the courage to know that you can tell your story as well. And so, Mr. Terry, we love you. And here we're going to reveal your story to the congregation.
Abuse from my father, and growing up and everything, I had dealt with a lot of abuse from my father, and It went on for several years like that, just kind of off and on. Kicked me out of my home and said, here's the world, face it. Just living here, living there, anywhere as I could. I spent some time under a bridge. Remember, Mom and Dad was divorced, and I graduated out of high school and everything, and I ended up staying with my mom for a little bit, and her boyfriend had kicked me out of the home, so I had everything that I could. Had it packed in the front seat of an old truck that I had, and I ended up driving down to AmVet's parking lot and living in the cab of my truck. I just decided, well, it was time to try to start a life, so I ended up moving to Tennessee and lived down there where I could, and I'd stayed with friends of mine that I'd met down there and stayed there for a while, and just things wasn't working out, so I ended up going somewhere else and staying with some more people, and I stayed there with them a few years. I ended up meeting this younger kid. He was a preacher at this little church, and I ended up going there and stuff, and that's when I got baptized, and that was just kind of my time when I started my little journey. At the time, I was new into it. I mean, I knew that there was a God. I mean, I never had any doubts about that, but I never really realized how much He had been with me. And I got hooked up with a friend of mine and stuff, and we really started getting into it. We ended up going to the same church and just talking to different people, and I ended up moving from Tennessee and went down to Louisiana and stayed down there. When I first got there, of course, now this whole time that I'm moving around, I have no family. All my family was here in Indiana. I had nowhere really to go, and at the time, still yet, I never really realized that God was providing for me the whole time that I was doing that. He was protecting me. I ended up getting enough money when I ended up taking an Amtrak and went down to Louisiana to a little town down there called Hammond. First day I got there and stuff, I took what belongings I did have, and there was a woods there, and I go out there, went to the woods, and I just kind of stashed all my stuff there, just kind of hide it, and I would just roam the town, just trying to find little odds and ends, some kind of work or something to do, just something to be able to eat, because I was about out of money. Then at night I would come down back to the train station, and I would get my shoes and put them on the park bench down there, and I'd sleep on the bench. It never dawned on me that I could have been killed or something just could have happened to me. I could have gotten hurt. And yet there was God. He had His hand on me, protecting me. And at that time, I never really realized it. Time went on, and the cops in that town would come by, and they would get me a voucher so that way I could stay in a motel room or whatever for a night. Then I was back out on the street. Got me a job working for a Walmart, and I would get paid, of course, every 2 weeks, but the motel where I would stay at was $100 a week. So it come to the point I had to make a decision of either paying $100 to be able to stay there a week or use some of that money to get something to eat. So needless to say, I ate a lot of candy bars and stuff like that. So when I didn't have the money to stay there, the people at Walmart would let me stay inside the building all night back in the employees' break room, and I spent a lot of nights there sleeping in that back room. Then I'd get dressed and work that day, and I'd go out around town just kind of looking for somewhere to be able to stay. I was trying to get something going, and yet God was still with me at that time, and I never really realized it then. And yet, this whole time of traveling around, I could have done stuff or gotten into drugs, alcohol. I could have wound up in jail. But there was something inside of me that kept telling me that I don't need to be getting into that stuff. Something is going to break through for you. I just had to kind of quit being stubborn and start listening a little bit more. And, well, to this day, I'm proud to say I don't have an alcohol problem, drug problem. I've only been in jail once, and that was for silliness, for driving on a suspended license. After all these years of being gone away from my family, and it was probably, 5, 6, 7 years before I ever come back. And so I end up coming back. Of course, stuff really didn't change much. I mean, my brother, he let me stay with him for a little while and everything, and he wasn't too crazy about it. Got me a job somewhere, working at a lube place, doing oil changes, and I got me a little one-room apartment like that, and I stayed there for several years, and then I ended up moving out there and living in a homeless shelter and stuff for probably, I'm thinking maybe a couple years, something like that. I got this crazy idea, well, maybe I can go to a technical school and learn a trade and everything. Of course, same old problem again. I get there and I couldn't qualify for housing assistance, so I am bouncing from here to there, trying to find a place to stay and try to go to school at the same time, and it just wouldn't work. I mean, I had a job there, but it didn't pay much. It was like minimum wage and stuff, and I had no way to get around, so everywhere I was going, I was walking, and I missed a lot of the school, and I finally just ended up quitting school because there was no point in it. I couldn't go. I didn't have anywhere to stay. So I ended up coming back and got me a decent little job. Started making enough money, and I got me a place to rent, a decent place, and I stayed there. I stayed at this one job and started making a little more money, and I ended up moving into the same town where the job was at. And so God provided the way the whole time there, and He moved me in with my aunt and uncle, which are really strong in the church. I was on my way home from work, and I come this where I live at now, and I got to looking, and I come in here, and I found this place, and it just felt right. So I got a hold of the people, and we talked to the lady and stuff, and that's when I finally got through and everything, as far as with her, to get stuff kind of rolling, and I ended up getting this place and paying rent on it, and it was rent to own. And I'd done that, and God was with me at the time. I was slowly coming around because my aunt and uncle, if you knew him, he would understand why I needed to get in church. Day come and stuff where God blessed me, and I own this place. I ended up getting it paid off after probably 30-some years of traveling, of trying to stay here, trying to get a life, trying to just live an existence as a human being. I end up coming upon this place, and He helped me pay it off, and now I own my home thanks to Him. And then years went on, as far as here where I'm at now. Dad had met Judy, my stepmom, and that was the turning point first for me. When Dad had got saved and got right, I totally forgave him. God had moved in that situation to where I got back to loving my dad again the way it should have been. God had saved my dad, and He brought us back together after all them years. Dad ended up getting sick with this type of cancer, and then we went down there one day, and he said, do me a favor. Get yourself into church and get yourself saved. Get back to where you need to be, because I would feel a lot better about that. And I think that was probably Dad's way and stuff of apologizing, because he did not want to leave this world knowing that his son and stuff wouldn't make it to heaven. And so I made him that promise, and that's when I found this church that I'm going to now, one here in Pendleton. And I told him about it, and it was like a big burden was just lifted off of both of our shoulders. And Dad's healing was going to heaven. To this day and stuff, I still have to deal with that loss, and I still think about all the years and stuff of my traveling. There's no communication because I just didn't feel like I was wanted. And yet God was with me the whole time, and I never really realized it till I got this place here. It took all them years for me to figure that out, but thank God I did. And so Dad's in heaven, and I made him that promise and stuff, which I am sticking to, and one day I will see him. But I just thank you for Trey Oldham and the Pendleton Church of God, for without them, who knows where I would have been. And I thank God for it too, just for everything that He has brought me through and made me realize what it was that I had been through. And I thank you, and this is my story.
One of the reasons that I wanted to honor Terry's story today is because it's a story of going from being an orphan, an orphan who actually had family that was alive, but through the power of God, through the power of Christ and the forgiveness that happens, he was reconciled to that family, and he was no longer an orphan, but he became a son again. And he not only gained a father and a stepmom, but he gained a lot of brothers and sisters in the process. And he went from homelessness, from living on the streets, from living alone, from jumping from house to house, to now he owns his own home, but he's got a church home too. And that to me is what the greatest testimony of church should be about. When you find that place that makes a difference in your life, when you find that place that can encourage you, inspire you, and give you the tools and the power and the strength and the confidence to go out into this world and to make a difference. Several years ago in a prayer, right up here, I was kneeling and I was praying during the congregational prayer time, and this statement came out of my mouth, and I've spent a lot of time processing this statement since then. But the statement was, God, this life is hard enough with you. I can't imagine life without you. And so I just remind you that. And so what we're going to do this morning is we're going to give each of you some tools to be able to share the grace, love, and compassion of Jesus Christ to the world around you. It's called our Echo Project. And if you are a social media junkie, when you're doing things today, I'd ask you to post things and hashtag live to echo with them, because we want to be able to track where people are going and what people are doing. So there's two projects. The first project is for I have 15 gifts that I want to give either to individuals, duos, family units, whatever. And here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to be courageous. I'm asking you to be prayerful. And I'm asking you to drive somewhere and to go face to face with someone who needs to hear something. And so I'm going to invite Dale. Is Dale and Kathy or just Dale? Just Dale. Okay. Come on, Dale. Dale, I gave Dale this assignment earlier this week. Just come up here and we'll use this microphone so we can hear you. I gave Dale this assignment earlier this week, and then after he shares his experience with the assignment, I'm going to share with you what your assignment could be.
Earlier this week, Trey gave me a $20 gift card for Marsh to go out and give to someone that I thought was worthy of it. I pulled into the parking lot over at Marsh, and as I pulled in, I asked God, please point someone out to me. Give me an indication of who I should give this to. And so I pulled in the parking spot, and there was an elderly lady and two young girls walking up to the door. And I said, that's got to be them. That's got to be where I'm going. So I chased him down, caught him at the cart path there, or cart room, and I walked up to the lady and I said, this is a $20 gift card here at Marsh. I hope it's a blessing for you. And she kind of looked at me like, what are you doing? I said, no, it's legit. Handed it to her, and I asked her if there was anything she wanted me to pray about for her, and she said no. So I started to walk away, and one of the little girls said, Grandma, who is that? She said, I don't know, just some nice man. So not only was she blessed with a $20 gift card, but I was blessed with someone thinking I was a nice man. And that doesn't happen often. So I had to do some shopping also, so I went into the store and we passed. And I said, now that is a legitimate card, so please use it. May it be a blessing to you. So,
awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it. So all right, here's assignment one possibility for you. On the back table, there's a table in the back of the room back here, and there are 3 maps on the wall. One of them says area grocery stores. One of them says Pendleton gas stations. And one of them says area laundromats. So there are 5 gas stations in Pendleton. There's Rickers and Speedway that are right here. There's the Pendleton Pantry, what used to be VP, Village Pantry, downtown. And there's the Rickers out at the interstate, and there's the Speedway out at the split of 9 and 67. There is an envelope underneath that map with each of those listed on there. Their address, and if you go, well, I don't know which Rickers this is, look at the color tag that's on that card, match it to the map, and you'll know which one you're going to. But what I want you to do is this. This is what I did this week, because I wasn't going to ask someone to do something I wasn't willing to do myself. Ryan and I went to Walmart, because the other option is area grocery stores, and if that is your choice, there is Aldi, there is Payless at Applewood, there is Walmart, Meijer, and then there is Marsh here in town. And they're assigned on the table underneath the map. And then there are laundromats. There's the Pendleton laundromat. There's one on there's one on 29th. There's one on 8th Street. There's one all the way up north on Broadway in Anderson. And there's one other, and I can't remember where it is. But they're all on there. They're all on the map. And so there's rolls of quarters for those. So here's what I would like. Ryan and I went to Walmart this week. We walked in. I had to get one Walmart card, but I bought 2. I walked outside because on the way in, there was a lady that was sitting kind of around the edge from the entry. And I thought, man, she just looks down on her luck. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead and try this out myself. So I got an extra $20 card. By the time I walked around the corner from getting out of the store, now there's 2 ladies there. So I felt kind of bad, but because I only had 1 card to give away. But I said, hi, ladies. I'm Trey. I don't mean to freak you out or anything. Ryan's standing over there behind me, so don't mug me. No, I'm joking. I didn't say that. But hi, I'm Trey. I just wanted to give you a gift card. This is a $20 Walmart gift card. It's lunchtime. I don't know if you've eaten today. I don't know if you need something, but here you go. And so she went, for nothing? I said, well, no, for nothing. It's just a gift. I just wanted to give it so that you could be blessed today. She goes, really, you don't want anything? And I said, no. I said, actually, if you feel like you need to give me something, Ryan and I are going to go back to the church here in a little while, and we would love to pray for you. Is there anything we could pray for? And she said, yeah. Actually, both women said, yeah. The one woman, and I didn't get their names, and I wouldn't want to share their names anyway, but one of them said, I've been going through this spiritual awakening recently, and I just need some guidance from God as to what that is. She said, and also, my health is deteriorating because I smoke, and I've been trying for 1.5 years to quit smoking, and I really need help with that. I really need God to just give me the strength to do that. Awesome. We'd be excited to pray for you for that. The other woman said, yeah, this lifestyle has just been really hard. I never find a good place to sleep, and my back is just killing me. Could you pray for my back? Absolutely. And so I said, is there anything else? And they said, no, I think that'll get us. And I said, well, you guys have a great day. We're praying for you, and I hope that God blesses you today. By the time we got to the truck, which was 4 car spots away, they were in the store shopping. I have no idea what they got. Doesn't matter. We don't get to choose how people receive the blessing, only that God called us to give it. And so if you are bold enough, strong enough, willing, I would encourage you, I would ask you to go back and grab a card or a roll of quarters. If it's a roll of quarters, you go to the laundromat, you just find somebody and go, this is for you. Praying God will bless you today. Ask if there is a way you can pray for them. Some people may look at you and go, yeah, could you pray with me now? Yes. The answer to that is yes, you can. If they want it, yes. If you get the feeling that they will totally freak out and hit you and run away if you try to pray with them, then don't do that right there. Go and pray for them when you get to your car, okay? But if you're willing to do that, then that is your gift. Now, if you get to those places today and there is not someone there, here is your assignment. Hold on to that and find someone who needs it. Cool? Now, over here, there's a prayer request board and a praise board. If you've been here for 6 years or longer, you've seen these before. Thank you to Brian and Amy Wilson for painting these to allow us to be able to reuse the old boards. While you're out and you're ministering to someone, blessing someone, if they give you a prayer request or a praise, I want you to come back and I want you to write them. Today, this week, sometime, next Sunday, whatever, just write them down. So that's assignment A. Assignment B, if you get back there and there's none left, then you just go home. There's nothing to do. No. We've got something for you to do. I talked with Terry after he shared his story of homelessness. And I thought, man, we really need to do something there. And so we're going to build these care packets. There are, in the back, there are 150 little black drawstring backpacks. And as you move down the table, this is what the Band-Aids and the granola bars were all about. There are, let's see, as I'm looking down it, first thing, there's a small thing of hand sanitizer. Drop it in the bag. Then there is chapstick. Drop one of those in the bag. There's toothbrushes and toothpaste. Drop one of those in the bag. There are Band-Aids. We'll need to count how many Band-Aids we have total. Just try to do an even distribution. I think when I was back there a while ago, we can put 4 Band-Aids in each bag. But let's double count that. There is deodorant back there. And so we want to put some deodorant, 1 can of deodorant in each bag. Then there are 2 gallons of sunblock. It was way, way, way cheaper to buy it by the gallon than it was to buy in individual packets of sunblock. But there's a pump for each one of those, and there's labels to put on the little baggies, but we've got little bags. We just want you to fill that with sunscreen and drop one of those in each of those. And lastly, there are enough granola bars for 3 granola bars to go in each sack. So you guys did awesome this morning. So you'll drop 3 granola bars. That is then going to go in a box, and then I want everyone that's here to put 1 in your car. So when you're out and you're getting off the interstate and there's someone at the end holding a sign that says homeless, you got something to give. You got something that could potentially change their lives. And if you use the 1 in your car, come back. We're going to make 144 of these things this morning, 146. I don't know. We'll see. 144 was the smallest amount I had of any given item. So we'll do at least that many. We want everyone to take 1. The rest of them are going to be back there on the Echo Project shelving units. When you give away 1 or 2 out of your car, come back in here and grab more. Our next time we do an Echo Project something, we'll make some more if we need to. But we want to keep something like that. They're not just good for homeless. If you know someone who is, we work with sister and man for man. If they're just coming out of prison, they have nothing. Here's a bag. If you're dealing with someone who just lost their home to a fire, here's a bag. It's very minimum, but it is something that will get people through the day. So, does that make sense? So this way, we're just going to work as an assembly line. Start with the bags, pass them down, fill the stuff in as it goes. So we'll need volunteers at each place along the assembly line. Everyone else, I want you to check back here if you're willing to go out and meet someone face to face. We want to start there. But I want to start with a prayer, and then we'll kind of release and go our separate ways. And anyone that wants to work back here, I'll meet with you. If anyone has questions about this stuff over here, ask Ryan. Cool? Everybody good? All right, let's say a prayer. God, as people are leaving this place and going out into the community, I pray that you will watch over them. I pray that you will give them wisdom and guidance to lead them to the person that is ready to hear your voice, your blessing, your message. I pray that when they interact with someone, that person will ask them for their story and that we will ask them for theirs. I pray that through this time it will be more than just a momentary blessing, but it will be part of walking across the room and helping someone to take the very next step of Christianity. I pray that people's lives will change because of what we're doing here today. I pray, if not for people that are outside these walls, that at least for the people inside these walls, that their hearts will change for the people they're reaching out to. God, break our hearts so that we may see people as you see them, so that we may see the community as you see it. Father, that we may have a heart that is broken for the things that yours is broken for. God, give us strength, Give us passion. Give us wisdom, that we may be able to share your grace, love, and compassion with the world around us. It is in the name of Jesus Christ we pray, through his power, strength, and mercy. Amen. All right. If you have questions about this stuff over here, go see Ryan.
I have a question.
Oh, Ryan has a question.
If you're going out, do you want people to come back if they can?
Yes. If you go out and you're just going to a place right here locally, then yeah, come back and write this stuff on the boards. Join back in. Share with us your stories. If you're going to the north side of Anderson, you probably won't make it back very quickly. And so if you live on the north side of Anderson, that would be a great opportunity for you to do something on your way home. But send us a prayer request through the church prayer chain, or email me personally with it, and I'd love to share your story with others around us. Oh, yeah, if you brought something for an offering this morning and you want to give that, you can do that at your leisure. It will be here up front, but that's not why we gathered. We gathered to go serve. So may God bless you and keep you. May his eyes shine upon you, and may you be life changers as he has changed your life. Amen.
We were made to be courageous.
Pastor Trey here. I don't know if you can see me. Just want to thank you for being part of our Sunday morning service. Thank you for joining us, and we are in prayer for all of those who need anything. If you want to shoot us an email, pcchog@gmail.com. We'd love to be praying for you. Thanks for being here with us. God bless. Have a great day.